Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll discuss the exercises of nervous system class 10, right? Okay, just we have a look over there. Here I am discussing the exercise from the book Your Candid ICSE Biology, right? Or for class 10th. First, name the following neurotransmitters that conduct nerve impulse through synapse. They are known as acetylcholine. Part of brain that maintains balance, cerebellum. Part of nervous system that acts violently during emergency, it is sympathetic nervous system. Ion responsible for the conduction of nerve impulse, sodium ions. It is sodium ions, a neurotransmitter stored at the terminal end of the axon synapse. The biological term given to the protective membrane of the brain, meninges. The part of the human brain concerned with seat of memory, it is cerebrum. Coordinates muscular activity, it is cerebellum, right? Part of the brain associated with memory, it is cerebrum. The part of the brain that carries impulses from one hemisphere of the cerebellum to the other, they are the pons, right? The fluid that provides protection and nourishment to the cells of the brain, provides protection and nourishment to the cells of the brain, it is cerebrospinal fluid. The cell body of a nerve cell, cyton, differentiate cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebrum, they are the centers of intelligence, thought and memory. Cerebellum, they helps in control and coordination of various activities, right? Gray matter and white matter. See, gray matter, it consists of cyton cells of the neuron, and white matter, it consists of the axon cells of the neuron. Nerve impulse and electric current. The nerve impulse and electric current, here you can see electric current passes through a wire due to the movement of electrons. Electric current passes through a wire due to the movement of electrons, whereas nerve impulse is the conduction through the nerve fiber takes place as a result of change in electric potential. I hope it is clear that what is the difference between nerve impulse and electric current. Synapse and synapses. Synapse, it is the point of junction where the two neurons meet. Synapse is the point of junction from where the gap, this you can see axon and this the gap between the dendrites and axon terminal end, that is the synaptic cleft, this you can see, and this where the neurons of dendrites of other cell, terminal ends of the neural cells, they unite like this. So point of meeting here, this point of meeting of this one, this is the synapse. And synapses, it is the pairing of homologous chromosomes in genetics. When you study in the cell division, in meiosis, synapses occurs. That is the pairing of the homologous chromosome. Cerebrum and spinal cord, arrangement of cyton and actions of the neuron. In cerebrum, cytons are placed above, axons are below. In spinal cord, cytons are inside, axons are outside. In cerebrum, cytons are outside, actions are inside. Spinal and cranial nerves, number of nerves. Spinal nerves, there are 31 pair of nerves. Cranial nerves, there are 12 pair of nerves. Cerebrum and spinal cord, arrangement of nerve cell, same way as you have done it here. इन सेरिब्रम साइटन्स बाहर की तरफ होते हैं, एक्शन अंदर की, स्पाइनल कॉर्ड में साइटन अंदर होते हैं और एक्शन बाहर की तरफ होते हैं. सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम कंसिस्ट ऑफ ब्रेन एंड स्पाइनल कॉर्ड. Sensory nerves carry impulses from receptors to CNS, that is central nervous system. Human brain weighs about 1200 to 1400 gram. Cerebrum forms the largest part of the brain. Cerebrum forms the largest part of the brain. Now here, meninges around the brain form outer to inside are dura mater, arachnoid, arachnoid, and pimater, piamater. Spinal cord encloses a cavity called central canal. Sensory nerves is the sensory neuron is the afferent process of a neuron. Salivation of mouth on hearing the bell of lunch break is an example of conditioned reflex action. See, on hearing the bell, when the bell is ringing, then the salivation means conditioned reflex action. Cranial nerves are 12 pairs and spinal nerves are 31 pairs. Excuse me. Lining of cavities in brain and spinal cord are called meninges. The basic unit of human brain is neuron. Find the odd one out. Cerebrum, cerebellum, olfactory lobes, and diencephalon. This is olfactory lobes and diencephalon. Superior colliculi, inferior colliculi, cura cerebrae, and corpus callosum. They are the parts and enfoldings. Corpus callosum is odd one out. Cyton, dendrites, axon, Nissos granule, and synapse. Synapse is out one out. They are the parts of nerve cells. Cerebrum, medulla oblongata, they are the main parts of the brain. Pons, it is the accessory part. Walking, eating, playing, and sneezing. Walking, playing, eating, that you learn reflexes. And sneezing, it is automatic reflex action. Means inborn reflex जिसे हम कहते हैं. Coughing, hiccups, breathing, heartbeat, and peristalsis. Coughing, breathing, heartbeat, peristalsis, ये सब inborn है. Hiccups, coughing, it is the conditioned reflex action. Dilation of pupil, increase in heartbeat, increase in salivation, they are all sympathetic autonomic system. Whereas decreased peristalsis, it is the parasympathetic system. Sneezing, coughing, typing, blinking. Typing, it is the learned reflex. Next, they are the inborn reflexes. That is the unconditioned. Lumen, muscular tissue, connective tissue, pericardium. They are all connected to pericardium that belongs to the heart. Cyton, photon, axon, cyton, axon, dendron, they are the parts of the nerve cell. Photon, they are the cells, the photon molecules are there. Name various parts of the brain stated, the main parts of the brain, as you know already. Cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Cerebrum, they are the centers of intelligence, thought, and memory. Cerebellum, it helps in control and coordination. And medulla oblongata, it controls all involuntary actions of the body. Whereas cerebrum, it controls all voluntary actions of your body is controlled. Define the following: stimulus, response, just see. Now here you see impulse, a wave of change in the electric potential on the outer and inner side of the nerve fibers. Impulse. Response, change of or reaction of any body, reaction of the body due to stimulus. Any agent or change in the environment that can cause change or reaction in the body. Synapse, junction of terminal arborization of axon of one neuron and dendrites of another neuron without any physical or protoplasmic contact. So see, as they remain like this, and from here the electric impulse is created over there through the acetylcholine material present. That's why they act as neurotransmitter that transmit the impulse from one to other like this. And here it occurs, that is with the help of the sodium ions, and the impulses passes from one neuron to the other neuron. Right? What do you mean by reflex action? What is the mechanism and its significance? Reflex actions are those actions which are not controlled by the brain, spontaneous automatic reactions of the body in response to a stimulus without consulting the willpower of the brain. They are the reflex action. Mechanism and significance. Regarding the mechanism and the significance of the The reflex actions. See, whenever any stimulus perceived by any receptor cells, sensory impulse, it is carried to the central nervous system through sensory. But in central nervous system, impulse is converted into motor impulse carried. सेंसरी न्यूरॉन्स में क्या होता है, देखिए इम्पल्स, आपका ये डायग्राम देखिए, यहाँ से इम्पल्स आई, सेंसरी न्यूरॉन के थ्रू मैसेज गया, यहाँ से गैंग्लियन, गैंग्लियन से ये डॉर्सल रूट में एंटर हुआ, ये स्पाइनल कॉर्ड का स्ट्रक्चर है, यहाँ से ये कनेक्टिंग, ये ग्रे मैटर है, ये व्हाइट मैटर, यहाँ पर साइटोन सेल्स हैं, ये एक्शन सेल्स हैं, ये स्पाइनल कॉर्ड है, अंदर यहाँ पे ये न्यूरल कैनाल है। तो यहाँ पे जजमेंट हुआ और टोटल मोटर नर्व से मैसेज गया मोटर एफरेंट गैंग्लियन के थ्रू, और ये वाटर में अफेक्टेड, मतलब आपने हार्ट हार्ट टच किया, तुरंत आपने बांटा है, विद इन पार्ट्स ऑफ सेकेंड्स दिस इज डन, that the receptor to sensory part, motor nerve to the effector, direct to the, so it is the pathway control impulses from receptor to the effector through sensory nerve fibers, a part of motor nerve, that is the reflex arc, and it is conducted. Actions, they are voluntary but later on they become involuntary as pedaling a cycle, walking. ये चीजें पहले तो हम सीखते हैं, लेकिन जब हम सीख लेते हैं तो उसके बाद धीरे धीरे वो ऑटोमेटिकली अपने आप होती ही जाती है। लिस्ट द एक्टिविटीज ऑफ सिंपैथेटिक एंड पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम. Sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Under sympathetic nervous system, it dilates pupil of eye. Parasympathetic, it constricts pupil of eye. Sympathetic increases heartbeat, parasympathetic decreases heartbeat. Sympathetic increases breathing by dilating bronchi and bronchioles. It decreases breathing by constricting bronchi and bronchioles. Stimulates tear secretion, inhibits tear secretion. Increases blood pressure, decreases blood pressure. Dilates nostril, constricts nostril. Relaxes urinary bladder, contracts urinary bladder. Decreases secretion of saliva, increases secretion of saliva. Decreases secretion of digestive juices by digestive glands, increases secretion of digestive juices by digestive gland. Decreases peristalsis, increases peristalsis in gut, right? Okay. Now here, just see the next one. The diagram given below represents the human brain as seen in an external view. Study the same and answer the question. Name the parts labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is cerebrum, 2 is cerebellum, 3 is pons, 4 is medulla oblongata. Mention the difference in the arrangement of the nerves in the parts marked 1 and 4. In 1 cerebellum, cytons are placed outside, actions inside, whereas in medulla oblongata, which posterior part is continued as a spinal cord, here cytons inside and actions outside. What is the main function of the parts marked 3 and 4? Main function of the part marked 3 and 4. 3 pons. It carries the impulses from the spinal cord to the cerebrum, whereas the fourth one, cerebellum, it helps in control and coordination of the body movement and the muscles. Rewrite the correct logical sequence. Sensory nerve, dorsal root ganglion. Here, the first one, receptor, then sensory neuron, then sensory nerve, then dorsal root ganglion, then motor neuron, right? Under second one, here also, first is your neuron receptor, then sensory neuron, then association neuron, then motor nerve, and then your effector, right? Here also, spinal cord, motor neuron, receptor, effector, sensor. First receptor, then sensory neuron, then spinal cord, motor neuron, effector. Same is here, first sensory neuron, first is a receptor, then sensory neuron, spinal cord, motor neuron, effector. Now explain the term reflexor. The actions which are not controlled and governed by the brain, they are controlled immediately governed by the spinal cord. They are known as reflex action. State whether the following action, voluntary action, simple reflex, or conditions reflex. Blinking, it is conditions reflex, conditioned reflex. Cleaning the table, voluntary action. playing on the keyboard, voluntary action. Salivating when the food is put on the mouth, it is the simple reflex action. Now, following diagram, the human brain guidelines 1 to 5 indicate the different parts of the surface of the brain, and they are as follows. Now, here you see, first is frontal lobe of cerebellum, the diagram labeled 1. Here it is this one labeled 1. It is the frontal lobe of cerebellum. Second is temporal lobe of cerebellum, occipital lobe. Now, study the diagram answer. What handicap would result if you damage to the part number 3? Damage part number 3 is occipital lobe of cerebellum. If occipital lobe is damaged, then the sense of vision will be affected. Person is not be able to see it properly because the sense of vision, by seeing what it is, person is not able to think at all what is in front of them. If damage to part number 4, it is the cerebellum, then if the cerebellum is affected, then control and coordination will not be there. The person will not be able to do any work at all. Mention one main function of each of the part number 1 to 5. 1, it is the frontal lobe of cerebellum. In frontal lobe, the main function, it controls all voluntary movements, personality, speech, and memory. Number 2, it is temporal lobe of cerebellum. It controls sense of hearing. And number 5, medulla oblongata, it controls all your involuntary actions. Give the technical term for the following. The point contact between two neurons, it is synapse. Protective membrane covering the human brain and spinal cord, it is meninges. The inflammation of meninges, it is meningitis. Classify the following actions on the receptural actions as simple reflex or condition. Playing of guitar, condition reflex action. Removing your hand suddenly when pricked by a thorn, simple reflex. Applying sudden brakes when a dog crosses the path, it is conditions reflex. Means if dog crosses, then only you are supposed to do. It. Blinking of eyelids on exposure to light, conditions reflect. Tying one shoelace, conditions reflect action. State whether the following statement are true. If false, write the correct. All voluntary actions are controlled by cerebellum. No. All voluntary actions are controlled by cerebrum. Dilation of pupil is brought about by the sympathetic nervous system. Yes, it is the true. Choose the correct answer given the statement 4. The cerebral hemisphere in mammals are connected by corpus callosum. A point of contact between two neurons is termed as synapse. A reflex arc in man is best described as the movement of stimuli from receptor cells, sensory neuron, relaying neuron, effector muscles. Right? Now here, which of the following is mainly associated with the maintenance of the posture? Cerebellum. The number of spinal nerves in the human beings, they are 31 pairs. Draw value diagram, myelinated neurons showing following part, perikaryon, dendrites, action. Here you can see the diagram. This is the diagram. Here you are showing. Here you have to write the perikaryon. See, this is all the diagram labelings are there. This is the perikaryon. Dendrites, they are the dendrites. Axon, nodes of nervine, axon, nodes of nervine, myelin sheath, direction of the wave impulse transmitted, Nissos granule, cell membrane, all labeling. This is the diagram of the system. Now here, state the function of sensory neuron, and the sensory neuron, they bring the information from the receptor cells to the spinal cord, and then spinal cord after relying or the connecting the neuron, motor neuron, it brings the impulse from the spinal cord to the affected organ. State the functions of the parts with the CSF, that is the cerebrospinal fluid. It is present in between the meninges. Main function, protect from external shocks and injuries. Meninges, they are covering the brain. In the meninges, they are the part which are present covering the brain. Their meninges also, they are the protective covering. Cerebrum, it is cerebrum, that is the front part of the brain. It is the fourth part of the forebrain. All voluntary actions are controlled by cerebrum. Cerebellum, below cerebrum, cerebellum is present. It controls and coordination of the different body movements. Hypothalamus between cerebrum and midbrain, and it transfers the impulses from the cerebrum and the midbrain. Action, they are present below the citon. They transmit the impulses from one place. Corpus callosum is present in between the two hemisphere of the cerebral hemisphere, by which, as these hemispheres are there, these hemisphere, now these hemisphere right and left, they are joined together here. यहाँ पर ये joining जो इन दो उंगलियों के बीच में ये जो joining होती है, nerve fiber से होती है. वो जो nerve fiber connection है, उसी को ही हम corpus callosum कहते हैं. इनका main function to transmit the impulses from left hemisphere to the right and from right to the left hemisphere of the cerebrum. In the following set, one word is odd one. Write the category of the group. Organelle, see, cell wall, vacuole, centrosome, plastis, the rest. Centrosome present in animal cell, rest are present in plant. Blinking, knitting without looking, smiling, blushing, crying. Odd one out is blinking. Rest are all, they are the inborn reflex action. The cerebrum, cerebellum, thalamus, hypothalamus. Here the function cerebellum, the cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus. They are the part of forebrain. Where the cerebellum, thalamus, they are is not a part of a forebrain. During a street fight between the two individuals, mention the effects of the following organ by autonomous nervous system. In the table below, one has been done for you. Now here you are able to see lungs dilates bronchi and bronchioles constant. Heart increases heartbeat, decreases heartbeat. Pupil dilates pupil eye, constricts pupil eye. Salivary gland decreases saliva, increases saliva. Draw well diagram neuron and name the five nodes of Ranveer. They have already done. Neurotransmitter, they are the acetylcholine, which comes that the synapse transmit from one neuron to the other. Corpus callosum, they join two hemisphere together present in between the cerebral hemisphere. Myelin sheath, neuron is covered by the mother. Corpus callosum, that the same one. Biological reason for the following: the fluid present between the layers of the manager, it is cerebrospinal fluid. Change in an organism resulting due to stimulus, that is the reflex action. Injury to medulla oblongata results in that because it involves all involuntary action. When medulla oblongata is injured, then all involuntary activities, your respiration, breathing, and your heartbeat, everything stops, so the person is not able to survive at all. The hand automatically shows the direction turn cycle without thinking, क्योंकि जब एक बार that is the reflex action, it is condition, जब ऐसे ही आता है तुम्हें पता है आगे मुड़ना है तो ऑटोमेटिकली एज यू सी, जैसे खाना अगर आप अपने माउथ के पास ले जाते हैं तो तुरंत आपका मुंह अपने आप खुल जाता है, आपको खोलना नहीं पड़ता है. Function cerebrospinal protects medulla oblongata, it controls all involuntary action. Person after consuming alcohol walks clumsily because cerebellum is affected, and here control and coordination between the muscles does not occur. The statement given below is going to write, Geriansili are the folds of cerebellum? No, they are the folds of cerebrum. The outer medulla meninges pyometer? No, it is dura mater. Maintaining balance of the body and coordination muscular activities carried by cerebrum? No, it is by cerebellum. The diagram below is given external view of the human brain. Again, the same one is there. Name the parts labeled ABC. It is cerebrum, cerebellum. It is your, see, if this is the medulla oblongata and this is the spinal cord. State the main function of the parts labeled A and B. A, all voluntary actions are controlled by A, that is the cerebrum. B, cerebellum, control and coordination of the maintaining the balance of the body and coordination of the muscular activities is done by cerebellum. What are the structural and functional units of the brain? It is neuron. How are the parts of these units arranged in A and C? A, cyton outside, axon inside. In C, cyton inside, axon outside. Mention the collective term for the membranes covering the brain. These are meninges. What is the function of cerebrospinal fluid? It prevents the brain from external shocks and injuries. The diagram below shows the internal structure of the spinal cord depicting the phenomena. Study the diagram. Name the phenomenon that is depicted in the diagram. Define the phenomena. It is reflex action. Technical term, the point contact between the two nerves, that is the connecting neurons. Connecting neurons. Name the parts labeled 1, 2 and 3. Spinal nerves, motor nerve, and the 3 in the center, this is the gray matter. This one is gray matter. How does the arrangement of neurons in the spinal cord differ from the you have already done so many times? Mention 2 ways spinal cord is protected in our body. Mention 2 ways why spinal cord is protected by the body. Your meninges, that is the cerebrospinal fluid. through the brain, it is continuous till the spinal cord. Match the given below the following. Cranial nerves, 12 pairs. Acetylcholine, they are the neurotransmitters. Spinal nerves, 31 pairs. Sneezing, it is a natural reflex. How are the sight and actions placed in the brain? Actions outside in case of spinal cord, and sight and inside in brain. Action inside, sight and outside. I hope everything is clear. Any doubt anywhere, you can ask me in the comment section. Again, we will meet in the next video. Thank you.